Hello humans, Master Dinnerflex here, bringing you the low quality content you deserve, and last night we got Genex support. I have to scoff at that, because to understand how ridiculous what I'm about to show you is, imagine, if you will, a bad archetype gets redesigned twice, exists 15 years, and every single instance of that, it is completely unplayable, and the archetype only has one card known to its name. That is what I need to demonstrate. Like, that should give you a demonstration of, like, how ridiculous what I'm about to show you is. 15 years, everything bad, and it's gonna be nuts. So, I'll also start off by saying this combo, depending on which normal summon you start off with, can have a pretty major effect on what your end board will be. So it's not as linear as what I'm about to show you. There's a lot more you can do. There's a lot more I honestly believe this combo can do. But I want to show this simple demonstration in this one combo, just so we can, like, get on track and know, well, what the plan for this deck is. So for this combo, it's a 1.5 card combo, which means it's a 1 card combo and a card you rip in half. And it's Genex Power Planner. When this card is normal summoned, we can add one level 3 Genex effect monster from our deck to our hand. We are going to add Birdman. Next, we are going to go into the new link, and that is Repair Genex Controller. When this card is link summoned, you can add one Genex monster from your graveyard to your hand. Now, that's pretty good, especially for a link 1. That's not the broken effect. As a matter of fact, the broken effect is going to blow this out of the water. Once per chain, if a Genex monster is added to your hand, except by drawing it, immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon one Genex monster, but for the rest of the turn, you can only synchro summon from your extra deck, and if you synchro summon, it can only be a Genex tuner. That is nuts. That is... Let me demonstrate why. Because immediately after that add back effect resolves, we are going to normal summon Genex Power Planner. To add one level 3 Genex effect monster from our deck to your hand, and then immediately after that resolves, we're going to normal summon our Genex Magma, and you're about to see what normal summons I was talking about. Because this one can add one level 2 our Genex monster from our deck to our hand. Now we will add our Genex Crusher, and immediately normal summon. When this card is normal summon, we can add one level 4 our Genex from our deck to our hand, and we will add our Genex Turbo. Immediately normal summon to add one level 1 Genex monster from our deck to our hand, and then finally, we are going to add Recycled, which we can immediately normal summon. It is a gadget line, because you could also even go back into Power Planner, but there's a tuner, and we are only allowed 5 monster zones. I know it's so cringe, but it is what it is. Next, we are going to synchro into 8, and we are going to make Genex Ally Axel. This is going to matter pretty soon, but now, we are going to activate Birdman to bounce Planner to special summon it. And for those who don't know, returning from the field of the hand is also treated as added to hand, so immediately after that resolves, we will normal summon Genex Power Planner to add one level 3 Genex effect monster from our deck to our hand. Now, we are going to do the same thing again, except bouncing Crusher. Then immediately after that resolves, we are going to normal summon Crusher, and we are going to add another level 4 our Genex monster from our deck to our hand, but this is actually going to be a new one. Now, ignore its name, Real Genex Undying. That real stands for R. This is just, I'm using custom cards, and I guess someone took the much more direct translation. That's not correct. But this will matter in a moment. But now, we are going to Synchro 5 into Dark Dimension Soldier. We are going to rip that card in half to summon back the Birdman. And now we will Synchro 8 into Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Now, what's really cool about that is you actually put the Birdman back in grave, and that can matter in a moment. Next, we are going to activate Genex Ally Axel. We can discard one card to target a level 4 lower machine type in the graveyard. So summon it, its attack is double, it's banished during the end phase. We're just going to revive back the level 1 tuner, and we're discarding this specifically. Next, we are going to Synchro 4 into, of course, Herald of the Arclight. And then finally, we are going to use Real Genex Undying here, where if you control a Genex Synchro monster while it's in the grave, which we do, we can add this and another Genex monster back from our graveyard to our hand, which we will add this and our Genex Magma, but for the rest of the turn, any card sent to our graveyard is banished, so we gotta be kind of careful. And then immediately after that resolves, we will normal summon our Genex Magma to add a level 2 our Genex from our deck to our hand, and we will add our Genex Turing. And then we will Synchro Summon using these two, they're banished, and we will make another Herald of the Arclight. And this one-card combo will be our end board. So, what is this end board exactly? Well, obviously you know what the fuck these three do. Next, this, Turing and Axel are where it gets a lot more interesting now. Because on our opponent's turn, this card in hand says, during your opponent's main phase, if you control a Genex monster, you can special summon it, then immediately Synchro Summon. And if you were to Synchro Summon with it, it can be treated as a level 1 or 3 monster, as well as level 2. So, during our opponent's turn, when they start making plays, we can summon this because of the Axle, and then we have two options. The first one is Locomotion or Genex. This one, when it's Synchro Summoned, take control of the monster your opponent controls with the highest level. Okay, quick effects like Snatch, Steal, and whatnot, that's pretty good. But we can also use it as a level 2 for this, which is a new Synchro monster for Genex, which is, I guess, an Ally of Justice crossover. Arms of Genex, 0 return. So this one's a lot more interesting to me, because depending on the deck you're going against, this card could be substantially more powerful, because its effect, when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can banish a monster from your graveyard who is the same attribute, negate the activation, and destroy it, but you cannot activate that effect again by banishing the same attribute. So, theoretically, if you have all 6 attributes in your graveyard, and your opponent activates 6 different attributes, this is 6 monster negates, basically. So, depending on the matchup, and depending on what deck your opponent's playing, this is just multiple monster negates. And then its other effect on the follow-up, once per turn, you can target up to 6 of your Genex monsters that are banished or in your graveyard with different attributes, shuffle them into the deck, then you can destroy cards in the spell and trap card zones up to the number of shuffled monsters. So basically, even if your opponent is actually just playing a trap deck, get punished for that. So, very solid. Considering the fact that this is like honestly one of, if not the worst archetype to ever exist, and now this is its one-card combo, that's a considerable upgrade. This card, this is also kind of follow-up. It would need to do a little more, but you can basically, if this gets outed, you can just link summon it into again and start that all over again. So, like, this is a really solid... No, I won't say solid. This card is absolutely ridiculous and could never exist in anything not Genex. But that being said, Ultimate Offering can go to 3 and you would literally not care. I think this is such an interesting wave of support, and I find it hilarious. But that's going to be it for me. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I don't have much else to say. Follow my other whatevers because I want internet validation. That's about it. Thank you all for watching, and remember, Master Dinner Flex will take your soul.